A janitor named Ronald Read died in 2014 with $8 million in the bank. Meanwhile, a Harvard-educated executive named Richard Fosconi went bankrupt the same decade. Same country, same economy, wildly different outcomes. Why? Morgan Housel spent an entire book answering that question, and the answer has almost nothing to do with intelligence. Here are the 7 ideas from the psychology of money that will change how you handle every dollar from today onward. Welcome to Earnings Per Page, where I break down the best finance and business books in under 10 minutes. If you want to skip 200 pages and keep the insights, hit subscribe. Let's get into it. Lesson 1. No one's crazy. Housel's first big idea is this: every financial decision you think is stupid actually makes sense to the person making it, based on their experience. Someone who grew up in the 2008 crash sees the stock market differently than someone who started investing in 2015. Someone whose parents lived through hyperinflation will hoard cash. Someone who watched a relative win the lottery will buy tickets their whole life. The lesson? Stop judging other people's money decisions. And more importantly, recognize that your own relationship with money was shaped by experiences you didn't choose. Awareness is the first step to better decisions. Lesson 2. Luck and risk are siblings. Bill Gates went to one of the only high schools in the world with a computer in 1968. His best friend Kent Evans was just as smart, just as driven, and died in a mountaineering accident before graduating. Housel's point is that every outcome in life is influenced by forces other than individual effort. The successful entrepreneur you're studying on YouTube might be brilliant, or might have just gotten lucky and survived. The failed business owner might have done everything right and gotten unlucky. The takeaway? Be careful who you praise and who you blame. Focus on broad patterns, not individual stories. Lesson 3. Never enough. Rajat Gupta was worth $100 million. He committed insider trading to make more. He went to prison. Bernie Madoff was already running a legitimate, wildly profitable business. He ran a Ponzi scheme anyway. The most dangerous financial skill is not knowing when to stop. Housel writes that the hardest skill in money is getting the goalpost to stop moving. If you don't define enough for yourself, the world will keep raising the bar, and you'll risk what you have and need for what you don't have and don't need. Lesson 4. Compounding is everything. Warren Buffett is worth around $130 billion. Here's the wild part. About 99% of that wealth was accumulated after his 50th birthday. Buffett isn't just a great investor. He's a great investor who has been investing for over 80 years. His secret weapon isn't returns. It's time. Housel's lesson is that good investing isn't about earning the highest returns. It's about earning pretty good returns that you can stick with for the longest period of time. That's when compounding does its real work. If you're 25 and investing $300 a month at 8% returns, you'll have over $1 million by 65. Start at 35 and you'll have less than half that. Time is the asset most people waste. Lesson 5. Getting wealthy versus staying wealthy. Getting money requires taking risks, being optimistic, and putting yourself out there. Keeping money requires the opposite: humility, paranoia, and the willingness to play defense. Housel calls this survival mentality. The people who get rich and stay rich aren't always the smartest. They're the ones who avoid catastrophic mistakes. They never get wiped out. They never have to start over. The practical version is this: don't risk what you have and need for what you don't have and don't need. A reasonable strategy you can stick with for 30 years beats a brilliant strategy that blows up in year 5. Lesson 6. The real value of wealth is freedom. Housel argues the highest dividend money pays isn't a yacht or a Rolex, it's control over your time. Studies he cites in the book consistently show that the strongest predictor of happiness isn't income level. It's having a sense of control over your life, being able to say, I'll do this when I want, with who I want, for as long as I want. So the question isn't how do I get rich, it's how do I buy back my time. Sometimes that's less expensive than you think, and it requires you to spend less, not earn more. Lesson 7. Save, just save. Housel's most practical chapter says you don't need a specific reason to save money. Most people save for a car, a house, retirement, but Housel argues you should save just to save. Because the world is unpredictable, and the person with savings has options when life throws curveballs. Job loss, medical bills, sudden opportunity, freedom to walk away from a bad situation. His formula is brutal in its simplicity. Wealth is what you don't see. It's the cars not bought, the vacations not taken, the lifestyle not upgraded. Wealth is the gap between your ego and your income. Now, here's where I'll push back on Housel, because I won't just summarize, I'll give you my honest take. The book leans heavily on stories and anecdotes, which makes it readable but occasionally light on practical, what do I actually do Monday morning advice. If you're looking for a step-by-step financial plan, this isn't that book. It changes how you think about money, but you'll still need a different book for the how. Also, the save without a goal advice works great if you have surplus income. If you're in survival mode, you need a budget and a plan, not philosophy. So, final verdict. The Psychology of Money is one of the few finance books I'd recommend to literally anyone, beginner, expert, or someone who hates personal finance. It's short, well written, and the ideas stick. Rating 9 out of 10. Read it once, then reread it every 2 years. If this saved you a few hours, subscribe to Earnings Per Page. Next week I'm breaking down Rich Dad Poor Dad, including the parts most YouTubers won't tell you about. Drop a comment with which finance book you want me to cover next. See you in the next one.